I'm LaTwana Scott. I am the owner and supervisor here at 615 East Hillsboro, Sweet Mama T's Family Style Restaurant here in El Dorado, Arkansas. And this is my business. We've been in operation for 4 years now. Growing up, my mom was always a great soul food cook, and she cooked in big old plantation pots, so a lot of people, all of our friends and stuff, everybody who wanted to eat at our house, if you couldn't do anything else, there was always a meal ready, some collard greens, some chicken spaghetti or something. So I just kind of got thrown off she would put on the pot, thrown off into cooking. She'll put on her pots and be like, well, Twana, you check on the, she go to work, and she drove a school bus and was a teacher's aide. So if I rode her bus, she drove our bus that day, she'll be like, Twana, when you get home, check on my pot of greens, check on my pinto beans, So checking on stuff kind of gave me a feel for cooking and when stuff is done and stuff. And I got in the 5th grade, the Weekly Reader, the paper coming around, you order books off of. I ordered my first cooking book. It was the Berenstain Bears cookie cookbook. And I made my first batch of cookies, and I was just amazed that you could just throw a little bit of this, a little bit of that together, make a whole lot of something. Once I got the feel for cooking, I would always read like 2 or 3 different recipes for one item, and I'll just take them and combine them and put my own twist, make my own version of it. And I would start, when I got to junior high, I started taking samples to my friends. It kind of gave me a reputation at a young age. Oh, Twana, will you make me this? And then as we got older, they would be like, well, will you make me this for my party? Will you make this dip for my party? Finally at the church, Veronica Smith Creer, who is our mayor right now, she was one of my sisters in our matron group, our young matrons group at church. And she was getting ready to have a 70s party at the church, and she was asking me, would I cater it? It was actually my first catering gig. She was like, I was like, I'll cater it. She was like, I'm gonna pay you, I'm gonna give you something for it, and I was like, well, okay. And that turned out to be my first paid catering gig, and just kind of went from there. People would always recommend me getting, if I make cakes for them or something, why don't you open your own restaurant? It would sell, your food would sell itself. I don't have a husband, I'm single, I have to have a job to pay my bills, So I thought about it, and I thought about, well, maybe I could get a weekend place. I was like, we really need a place to go after church, some home cooking. We need that. I think our town needs that. So I started seeking, I prayed about it, and leaving my job was just not an option for me in my mind. I believed in myself, but you never know stepping out by yourself. I was looking for a place for lease. Maybe I can find me a building that's for lease and just open up maybe on Fridays, Saturdays, and Sundays. Get the Sunday crowd. I want us to have somewhere to eat on Sundays. So I wanted to go to a Monday through Friday position because I had to work 12-hour shifts every other weekend at the police department, and sometimes I would have to pull a double. You know what I'm saying? Or work over 18 hours sometimes. I set out and I was looking at buildings, and this particular building was up for sale, and another guy had passed me that owns a takeout fish place here in town, and he saw me with a realtor looking at an empty building that was for sale, but it was not set up. It used to be a sandwich shop only, sandwich and coffee, so it wasn't set up with everything I needed for a restaurant, and you couldn't dine in. So he followed me to the car wash. I went to the detail shop after I met the guy, and he said, I've been trying to find you, and he's actually been in business for years, several years, but he let me know that his health was failing. He had stage 4 cancer. He said, I really want somebody to buy my place that has a passion for it. And he talked to me, we had a long talk, and I decided to try to buy his place. I was like, I really wanted to lease something, but okay. And I did all the paperwork, but there was some problems with the business side on his part, so we couldn't do that. But we couldn't get a loan on his place. There were some discrepancies. Eventually, the loan officer, he called me, and he told me, I've read your business plan, And I think this is really what at Southern Bancorp, it was a Southern Bancorp loan officer. He said, I really want you to do this business. He said, I think it's really what our town needs, LaTwana. The loan officer at the bank, at Southern Bancorp, he told me, why don't you go over there and talk to them? He said, I think that would be great, a great place for you. He said, LaTwana, go look at it, try it. He said, you really need to do this. I think you would do well here in our town. So I did. I met with the owner, Roger Cheshire, and before our deal was done, he was sending me Bible scriptures on text and telling me just so much encouragement about going ahead and doing this. And he was like, we really want you here. Needless to say, I did it. I stepped out on faith. I left my job of 5 years because I guess this is what God really wanted me to do. I put in a resignation. They all knew by then that I was seeking to do this because I couldn't get a position Monday through Friday up front, and I couldn't be off every other weekend. So I resigned and I just stepped out on faith. God has just been doing the rest ever since, really, because within 5 months, I was featured I had an article featured in Arkansas Business Magazine. And, anytime I have thought about just giving up, even through COVID, God will just send a phone call with a catering for 300 people or something like that to let me know this is what I have for you to do. Even when I'm up here on closed days, people are always pulling up. Oh, you're not cooking today? You're closed? I mean, here we are 4 years in, and they still, if they see a vehicle out, they're going to pull up and come in looking for food, So, I mean, I think that I've been a great help in our community, in our city. I've had nothing but love from fellow people. I still support my local businesses. Yeah. We closed on Saturdays and Mondays. I am so sorry, y'all. We be open tomorrow, 11 to 4. I was just doing an interview today, and I prepped for tomorrow, but I'm good, cuz you doing all right? We'll be open 11 to 4. Y'all come back tomorrow. You gonna be in town?
That's great. You just said.
Just said that, didn't it? Yeah. It happens all the time.